Give me 1 second. Start this. All right. It's good. It's good. What's good? Okay, everyone joining up. Fire. Get one thing ready. All right. Let's do this. What's up, YouTube? What's up, Ms. Jinx? Lexi, crew. All right, so let's just start the screen share right away. Good morning, George. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so yesterday was nice. Obviously, NASDAQ. We did end up catching a nice trade down here. Was it this one? Yeah. A nice. Was it? It was this one, huh? Actually, I don't know. Here. All right, so we ended up catching these nice sells. The overall bias was we were bullish within the 5 minute. We know that we could have targeted that 5 minute equilibrium. Who the fuck's messaging me, man? We know that we could have targeted that 5 minute 50% point or the equilibrium. Beautiful trade. Okay, beautiful trade. Nice 1 to 2. But I told you guys that the reason I was targeting and my main goal was to just hit this equilibrium, even though I took out a little bit before we held a runner all the way down here, I knew that price could have reacted to this area to continue higher. It did exactly that, and it continued to run bullish quite well until obviously we did end up flipping trend. Now that we flip trend, we can go to the higher time frame and see that we have a 15-minute bullish leg that has not had a pullback yet, and that's probably why price has now started to come down. Obviously, a lot of it could have been to Trump talking. I don't know if that was at the same time that price dumped. But nonetheless, we are starting to facilitate that pullback. I am expecting price to come to 50%, but that does not mean I'm necessarily going to be looking for sells today, right? Because now that we're sitting within this bearish leg here, after we broke these lows, we were now bearish internally. And we know that price, before continuing lower, could potentially facilitate the pullback of this bearish leg before it then continues its overall melt off. So first things first, like my bias for today is bullish. I mean, obviously we don't have any confirmation, but I want confirmation. So if we're going to continue lower and break these lows, then okay, I'm going to continue to sell. But just knowing that we're at risk, being that we are pretty oversold and we know that price can continue to dump. We are oversold and price may not be ready to continue to dump, and we may get stuck at a point where price is no longer looking to continue lower. That could be a risk, but nonetheless, if we do get some type of buying or bullish pressure, I will be looking for these buys higher up, facilitating that pullback of this new internal 5 minute bearish leg. Okay. As far as DAX, again, DAX really no setups yesterday, but we did have a nice little dump. Nonetheless, I honestly, like when it comes to trading, I'd prefer sells here, which obviously we have a pretty big move before we even get to that area where it would be valid for sells at the 50%, where I could expect price to target some of these areas. Because again, from an hourly standpoint, we are very bullish within this hourly leg. We know that price can continue lower to facilitate the pullback. So that's the bias as far as sells. Okay. Obviously, first thing I know you guys are thinking, one thing I was even thinking is potentially catching buys into this area on the lower time frames, like the 5 minute. But nonetheless, the 5 minute has horrible structure. Like I don't think we have any good structure to play off of. We just basically had one big melt off. But nonetheless, that's why I like the sells, because we had really good displacement down. We know that we have targets further down. So if we end up getting that pullback, we can play that longer time frame trade down into the 50% down here, where we will for sure get a 1 to 2 on UK 100. As far as DAX, we won't get the 1 to 2, but nonetheless, again, price doesn't have to stop at the 50%. Okay, I do like UK 100 a lot more, truly, but nonetheless, we did start breaking and showing really good displacement lower on DAX. I may give a shot on both if they end up hitting my 50% before my trading hours are over. Again, I have the first 2 hours of London session, so until 2 a.m. PST. If we hit that area, I'll enter. If it's literally 1 minute after, I will not enter, right? But same thing with DAX compared to UK 100. 5 minute time frame shit, right? We just had this massive sell off. I would want to play a pullback of this bearish leg, being that I expect price to go higher into the 50%. But nonetheless, we have really no highs to play off of. I obviously did look at the 1 minute, but you guys know I don't trade the 1 minute. But yesterday we had a really nice 1 minute trade play on DAX here. Okay, obviously I don't trade the 1 minute, that's why I didn't take it. But nonetheless, I am getting a lot of data when it comes to the 1 minute, because obviously when it comes to NASDAQ, I trade the 1 minute for a reason, because it always, like, typically it will still align with the 5 minute. So I could say the same for obviously UK 100 and DAX. I've just never traded the 1 minute on DAX and UK 100. So being that I'm used to the 5 minute and waiting for those setups that are a little bit more, I guess you could say confirmation based, I'm still looking to get data. What's up, Michael? Yeah, true. He did move the market. Marcus, yeah, I agree. But nonetheless, going back to what I was saying, if we continue to get data, so like let's go back to today's price action. Let's say, obviously within this 1 minute trend, we clearly see this high here. We did break it. So if we do see price continue to react within a bullish manner, and let's say we would have had a setup on the 1 minute to target that 50% equilibrium of this massive 5 minute bearish leg, then okay, that's just added data, added information that'll tell me maybe we can start trading the 1 minute in the future. But nonetheless, the 1 minute can be very deceiving and very choppy too, where we could be breaking these highs here, but nonetheless, price still wants to continue lower because of that 5 minute overall bearish trend. Okay, so that obviously is going to be put in account depending on what happens. I still have a feeling price is going to rip, right? You guys may be able to take the 1 minute, nonetheless I have to be strict to what my plan says, and as of right now I just won't take the 1 minute setups, but I could in the future, really depending on obviously these playing out and then future data as well. Just because these play out doesn't mean tomorrow I'm going to go and just hop on the 1 minute. No, but it just gives me a lot of good information and good data on the fact that I possibly could in the future. But it goes both ways. If price loses, then it tells me, okay, I can still possibly go to the 1 minute in the future. I just have to be very picky when it comes to the trades that I'm taking. Just because, again, the 1 minute, I don't want to get caught in any chop. Just because the 1 minute looks like it's starting to break higher doesn't necessarily mean it's going to continue higher. I guess same goes for 5 minute. To book partials on short position, like on legacy funding ordinary. Sorry guys, talking to YouTube. Same thing, UK 100. Again, the 1 minute does look good in the sense of if we do end up coming up seeing some type of bullish impulsive leg. Obviously, we haven't broke structure technically yet. We just kind of started wicking it. But let's say price does eventually break these highs, and let's say price does pull back and continue to play out higher. Again, another good piece of information as far as the 1 minute is playing out, and we could potentially look to start trading that. If I get a lot of data within the next month, also going back on old data to see how the 1 minute has been playing out, with the overall bias. Again, by next month, we could be implementing the 1 minute. It just overall, it just depends. Okay. But again, we'll see. Either way, I think UK 100 and DAX will be a trade that I take off stream because I doubt I'll be streaming for 2 hours. But NASDAQ, I think we will see some buying pressure here, to be honest with you. I just have a feeling that we're pretty oversold. We may see break these highs. Once we get to break those highs, I will be looking for some type of continuation higher. But obviously, like I said, we still have a lot of room on NASDAQ to sell off as well. And balance 50%. We could just see the continuation of that dump, but we'll see. What's up, Joris? What's up, Nick? How you doing? I'm doing good, bro. How are you? We're just going over DAX and UK 100. NASDAQ, DAX, UK 100 is nothing really presenting itself. Like I said, unless you want to take the 1 minute setup, obviously you need more confirmation on DAX. I mean, on UK 100 for sure, as far as another break. I'd say the same thing for DAX, where you want to see another break here. We did actually pull back. I mean, we didn't have the best displacement here, but nonetheless, we still broke these highs. So you could end up, and price is clearly reacting out 50%. Like we see that clear as day. So like if market had already opened, this would have been a good setup as far as seeing price break, reaction 50% to go higher, or even waiting for a break of these highs. Now that price has confirmed that one, it's bullish, it's reacting out 50%. So we had a decent pullback. If we break those highs again, like you couldn't take them. It's just, I just hate that it's a 1 minute. If this was a structure on the 5 minute, beautiful. We would have been taking this shit 100%. But nonetheless, it's not. And I'm going to be a little bit picky until I get more data. But we'll see. We're just going to mock it up. Again, guys, I'm not taking this, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, this could break before open. So even if it broke before open and we were trading 1 minute, I wouldn't take it. But we're going to mock it up just to kind of get the information necessary, just like DAX's trade yesterday. It's good, Lomrings. But I think I'm ready for NQ. We'll see how it plays. Got a cut? No. I need a cut. I can't lie. Need a cut. Sometimes I don't got time to go. I might go tomorrow. We'll see. My barber's booked up or not. We'll see. When am I getting dreads? Mornings? I don't know. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about, like getting some like 360 waves and shit. I feel like you got that, Lormings. You would look tough. You're crazy. Who's the barber? Michael right now. It's this dude named Esteban. But I think I'm gonna go hit up Ruben. I think you know Ruben. Click bias for gold. I got you. Jewish curls for Nick. You'd love to see that shit, Joris. Yeah, he be cutting you up, fire. Yeah, sometimes he's booked though, so. Bias for gold. Obviously, we clearly had a dump, probably due to Trump. Yeah, he would. Nice bullish leg. Pull back. Obviously, we're very bearish right now, but nonetheless, we know we have Tokyo High sitting higher. I have a feeling we will see some type of bullish pressure stepping into play, but I could be wrong just because we are overall bearish. S1 is his homie? Nah, I don't think so. So I forgot to look at liquidity here. So this is one thing I don't like. I like it better on DAX, even though I like calendar better. Like obviously when it comes to these sells, like one, I have a feeling like obviously price could end up reaching that point within 2 hours, but that's a really big move. So I may not even take this. 60 points here and it's doable. DAX is really where it's fucking heavy. Damn near 200 points. Yeah, it's a really big move, especially for DAX. Obviously we could, but even if this isn't within my trading hours when price finally hits it, I'm still going to back test it just to see how price plays out. If it does end up playing out, we continue lower from that area. If it doesn't, DAX got that pressure it needed. I mean, honestly, they look good on the 1 minute, guys. Like, I really can't even fucking lie to you here. Finally broke here. So this would be our entire leg. I really like the 1 minute here. I just don't want to get caught in any unnecessary chop. And that's a fear, especially because, I could just take the 1 minute, guys, but nonetheless, the way I look at it is, one, I'd prefer to have data. If I have data actually supporting that the 1 minute is playing out more likely than not, great. Then whereas a little bit more confidence in the fact that we know that there's some type of edge or, I guess, not necessarily an edge. I guess it would be, considerably is a win right there to take the 1 minute. But the way I look at it is I could take these 1 minutes and they could win. Great. Right? But what if I took the 1 minutes and they both lost? It's that type of situation where if there was more data, great. But so DAX and UK 100 is not on legacy, but that's why we also trade NQ. We're looking for a nice little NQ setup. We had a nice 1 to 2 yesterday. We were just expanding higher. Again, I wish the 5 minute looked better. There's just a lot of noise in between, not a lot of real structure. Wow, we just moved quite a bit before open. It's pretty shocking. Is there news? Not really. Same thing here. We're expanding higher. Again, I wouldn't, even if we were trading the 1 minute, I wouldn't be able to take this just because we broke before London Open. But this is our new leg that we're clearly playing within here. Again, I'm not taking these, just going to mock these up, see what happens. And then we can use it as appropriate data. Obviously, for me to enter, I'd probably want to see it hit 50% and then shoot higher. Really good displacement, guys. This is giving us a really good sign that price is at least looking to go bullish, but nonetheless it could be a manipulation to then go lower, especially because now we're top wicking. But very good displacement, very good signs at price. Oh my god, is this the recovery of all that fucking sell-off? Massive displacement higher. But nonetheless, like, we'll see what price does here. If it totally flips to hit 50%, then this like wouldn't be an entry. But let's say it does end up printing higher with this amount of displacement, and then we get that pullback into 50%, again, like that could be a possible entry, like if we would have been trading the 1 minute. But if we just flip where we're at right now and hit the equilibrium as is, like within this candle, which I doubt it since it's the 1 minute, that'd just not be a good situation. What's Nas doing? Nas is going up. Perfect. I want to see a full break of these highs here. From there, we could play this leg. Pretty big stop loss, I can't lie. I mean, not too crazy, actually. Not too bad. But we haven't broken these highs, so we need to see a little bit of something there. DAX still flying. UK 100, okay, close higher. So if price would or does hit 50%, obviously I'm not entering, but this would be entry if this was 5 minute or potential 1 minute trading in the future. So again, you can enter. I'm not entering. I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm not going to enter. So obviously enter at your own risk on this trade if you do decide to enter. Same thing with DAX. If you do decide to enter your own risk. I'm not entering. I will let you guys know if I do enter, which I won't. So I will on NASDAQ if we do get a setup. So we're going to see how this plays out here. If we do end up expanding higher. If not, you know. Like I said, I did expect buys to begin with. And that looks like exactly what we're doing, just because, again, we are within this bearish leg. We know that we've been selling off for a while. We know that price may look to recover, have its pullback, but then continue back down with that overall bearish expansion to begin with. DAX is still flying, just overall expanding our range. Obviously, this is bigger now. And again, one thing to keep in consideration too is like our equilibrium is obviously up here. So like if we would have entered this, or if we do, which obviously we're not, you know, we definitely get those 1 and 2s for sure. But we'll see. Because one thing is like we could get trapped within this like bearish expansion here to go lower. It just could be facilitating the pullback of this bearish expansion and not really paying attention to the 5 minute swing leg. But it could be. So I think if we would to trade the 1 minute in the future, we'll definitely have a lot more frequency and a lot more trades. But again, like just because there's more trades doesn't necessarily mean more profits. That's something to remember is, again, like, yes, we may start trading the 1 minute in the future if it proves itself within the next month and obviously past month's data that there is good setups, as long as obviously we're picking quality setups. But it could be the opposite. It could. And again, that's where I even tell like my friends, my students, like less is more. You guys hear that all the time, you know, but I'm still wanting to instill that in your head that if you feel like your system didn't have as many setups, like obviously I haven't traded DAX UK 100 in a week, but nonetheless, you know, I'm not just like, oh, I need to find ways to take more setups. That's not why I'm looking at the 1 minute. I just happen to notice that the 1 minute has been producing a lot. Even when the 5 minute doesn't present any real setups, the 1 minute is still showing something that aligns with the overall directional bias of the day, or at least the session. Therefore, it's just something that I'm interested in, as long as price, you know, continues to prove itself that it is playing out, you know, how I'd want it to. Because again, like in this last week, our directional bias as far as where we expect price to go has been beautiful, has been pretty much spot on. Other than the fact that we're just not getting the entries and the setups that I'd like to see, or any setups or entries at all, we're just moving, right? We're just still playing out with the overall bias. It's just can't take anything. Still waiting on NAS. Obviously, we're just open, so let's wait for the break. I think we'll get it, to be honest with you. UK 100 may not even facilitate this leg. So the thing is, like, let's say we do end up just absolutely ripping higher on UK 100, never put into this leg. Obviously, this is still good data, being that, okay, like, even though we didn't hit it, we know the directional bias was correct. But this is just another example of, again, like, you're not always going to get the exact setup that you want, or you're not always going to get the entry, even though you're correct on the directional bias. You know, this happens on the 5 minute too. So, Michael, I'm not taking UK 100 in DAX, by the way. Just to be clear. Again, you can, but again, like, I don't trade the 1 minute, at least not right now, not yet, you know, but they're good setups from a 1 minute perspective, right? That are aligning with the overall higher time frame bias. Just be cautious if you take it. You may not even want to take it, just because, again, like, it could end up resulting in a loss, just because, again, there's not enough data to say that the 1 minute, like, obviously the 1 minute is still strong and powerful in itself. That's why I trade the NASDAQ on the 1 minute, right? Basically use the same system, just on, you know, here. But just be cautionary. I prefer having more data to back up trading that. Good displacement higher. I like that. All right, guys, we got the break, so we got the break. 4 contracts, not bad. But I'm gonna just wait it out, to be honest, to see if price does hit the 50% in the 5 minute. No, I'm good taking that good trade. Yeah, I think truly, Michael, like, price still has a lot of room to expand before we even get close to this. I think it would generally take an hour unless price just rip, but I almost don't want it to rip. Yeah, Joris, I have definitely traded the 1 minute on NQ a lot more often, and I did a lot of back testing and forward testing before we started trading NQ during London. So that's where is that a fucking big ass fucking mosquito? It's gonna kill me later tonight. I shouldn't say that. But yes, Joris, to answer your question, yes. That's why I'm more confident and willing to trade the 1 minute on NQ. It's not that I just like it. It's just I have more data backing up me trading the 1 minute. Rather than DAX UK 100, I've really seen no need, especially within the past, to get data on the 1 minute, just because, just based off the 5 minute, we've been doing good enough. And that's typically where, you know, I see my setups, 5-15 minute. But when structure has, like, literally this past month, structure has just not been too good on the 5 minute. And when it comes to the 15 minute setup, sometimes they're taking too long to even hit, meaning I only have the first 2 hours to trade. Sometimes they're hitting at 3 a.m. PST, 4 a.m. PST, and a lot of them are still actually playing out, which, again, is still good data in itself too, because even though I don't allow myself to trade after 2 a.m., I'm still always looking to see, okay, if price is starting to give me a lot more setups later into London session, damn near heading into New York, and they're all playing out, or at least majority of them are playing out, more winners than losers, then at that point, obviously in the future, if there's enough data to back it up, I could potentially start trading later, right? But obviously, if we start trading the 1 minute, that may not even need to happen, because we're catching our setups still within that 2 hour window, because we're trading a lower time frame. But obviously, I still like my 15 minute and 5 minute setups. And, you know, that could be a situation where we're able to take these 1 minute buys into these sells and take both. Obviously, one could win, one could lose. They both could lose. Granted, you know, it would only probably be one. Show my fib settings. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty easy. It's just 0, 0.5, 0.71, and 1. That's it. And I really don't ever pay attention to 7.1 or 7.1. Really just care about the 0.5. That's all you need. It's just the equilibrium line. Oh, fuck. How long would I backtest something? I would go back probably months. I would. Um, and then also forward testing as well, I feel like is very key, because back testing, like you should, like if you're gonna back test appropriately, back test correct. And like what I mean by that is like some people go and back test and they'll look at active price and how it moved. They're on the session to figure out, okay, let's go back to New York yesterday. Let's say we're back testing New York. You can already see that price has moved and played out, right? So obviously in your head, you're going to be looking for the trades that won. A lot of people, when you're back testing like this, where you already see what price has done, you're not really being able to see what price was doing during like the live session. Meaning, again, like buys may look good now that you see that buys played out, but you may have liked sells to begin with, right? Just because let's say we see this bearish leg, you may have assumed that price was going to continue lower. Therefore, you're going to look for sells, right? Obviously, we're not looking at the higher time frames here. You should look at the higher time frames, because if we're looking at the higher time frames, we know that buys would probably be better in this situation. But nonetheless, we're just, example. So you could have been looking at sells if you were trading the live market, but in this case, now that you see it played out higher, you're going to be looking for some type of buying opportunity, right? Where the appropriate way to backtest is go to a higher time frame, right? Scroll out where you can't see shit, buy the fucking replay thing, go back. Now you can reset your charts, right? Obviously, we'll go back just a tad, or let's say we're already within New York, obviously. But now you can just play out price. So you don't know what happened beforehand, right? So let's say, okay, like sales look decent here, obviously we're within this bullish leg, but we took liquidity, broke these lows, let's see if they end up playing out lower. Obviously, this is just a mock-up. We'll say we entered at equilibrium there, and we're targeting London lows, right? Obviously, didn't play out. That's good data that tells you, okay, maybe I was missing something, and that was probably the higher time frame bias, right? And then obviously you can play on to the next fucking London session. New York, sorry. Oops, let's go back a tad. And then the same thing. Now you know that price, you can't see price, you don't know what it did. So therefore you can just play out price. All right, we see New York opening, it's lower. We see, price starting to flip here. We can go down to the 1 minute and see, okay, the 1 minute starting to flip, broke some decent highs here. Let's see if price gives us some type of setup. And again, you don't know what happened, so therefore it's better data in the sense of you actually are entering based off your system and based off your analysis of price before actually seeing what happens. So again, price expanded itself, so our entry move up to here, stops here. Let's see if buys play out at least to 101. Looks like it's not. So boom, data. Now you know that you're picking trades. Actually held there at the lows. So it did. It hit 101. Came deep within the area of our overall stop loss at these lows, but nonetheless it played out higher. So you guys get the point. Again, that's how you should be replaying. Back testing truly. If you're not, I don't think it's that good back testing. So that's how you should back test, if you guys didn't know. Just to make sure that you're actually getting some of live data. Obviously, live data is still a little bit different, like this, where we're actually trading a session. Like that's where I'm getting live data here, where obviously, like I said, I'm not taking UK 100 and DAX on the 1 minute, but I'm still mocking it up in live time to make sure that, again, like I'm reacting and getting the data as if I were to be in trading the 1 minute right now. But obviously I'm not, and it's just data. So boom, 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 boom. Continue higher here. And again, the 1 minute may tell us too that we just end up expanding higher and never have a pullback of the 1 minute. Again, that's also data. But yeah, months, Joris. Like when I say months, like obviously you're not sitting at your computer for months. But the way I just showed you how to back test, we went back like what, a month, maybe 2 there, maybe 3 for all I know. You can go back further. That's where I mean like going back and like seeing like your sessions play out based off your system, obviously based off your analysis, and then using that information to overall like see, okay, how many times am I winning versus am I losing? And, like, why am I losing? Why am I winning? And if you're putting all these into it, like, some type of trading journal, like you'll be able to see that. And like what I take advantage of too, and like what really helps is when I put all these back tested trades into my journal, I am actually able to download my data and I plug it into AI. And all AI does, like, it doesn't tell me like I should be entering here, here, here. It just tells me based off, okay, my win rate, based off how many times I'm winning versus I'm losing. It can give me a general idea or analysis if I'm doing anything wrong or if I'm entering too early based off those back testings. Okay. Or if there's, something that I shouldn't lean towards, like if I'm losing more when it comes to, let's say, trading the 1 minute, then of course, I'm going to reanalyze and maybe get more data to back that up, that the 1 minute doesn't prove to be as strong as the 5 minute is. So it's a little lesson on fucking back testing, which again, like at a certain point, like I rarely back test now unless I just need data on something like DAX and UK 100. I probably will go back and see how the 1 minute has been playing out this entire year, maybe even going back into last year, to see if the 1 minute is worth trading. Obviously, it may be, it may not be, but I'm going to allow data and past data to dictate that, rather than just jumping into the fire and potentially taking unnecessary losses. Just because something looks good doesn't necessarily mean it's going to play out in your favor. All right, same thing goes for 5 minute too. Right, the same thing could happen on the 5 minute. Something could look good on the 5 minute and still not play on your favor, but nonetheless, there's more data backing up my trades on the 5 and 15 minute. So we never facilitated the pullback of that entire 5 minute range. That's fine. Maybe we catch sells, but I doubt it. Like, if price came down, broke these lows, and like did something like that, yeah, maybe we could look for some type of selling opportunity. But nonetheless, like, I feel like if price did end up shooting down here, we probably won't have that pullback. We'll probably just shoot straight down to equilibrium. But again, I have some time, so we're gonna be here for a while. Let's see what your USD is doing. Chopped. What the fuck? I hope we do at least get to enter these cells. Obviously, we still have over an hour, 30 minutes for price to expand higher. But even then, like, I honestly would not want to see price just shoot up here. Doesn't mean that price can't still win and come back down. But nonetheless, like, I'd want to see price approach this area slower, creating more liquidity too, like creating new higher highs, higher lows that overall just accumulate a bunch of liquidity sitting within here. Just because at that point, price can be more probable to continue its sell off or sell back off, to not only take that liquidity, but then to also play out with a higher time frame bias. What's NAS doing? This trade in itself, I guess, is still risky too, just like DAX UK 100, just because 5 minute structure isn't as promising other than seeing this massive 5 minute bearish leg down. But again, like, the 1 minute looks good. It's just more comfortable 1 minute on NQ than I am DAX UK 100. At least for now, guys. I have a slight feeling, slight, that we may start trading the 1 minute on DAX UK 100. But we will ultimately see. I think I'll probably take the entire month of April, unless like we're just banging on the 1 minute and data really goes to show that the 1 minute is still giving a lot of really good producing a lot of good setups. And in that case, okay, maybe mid-April, but nonetheless, I really would shoot for a whole month's worth of live testing. Fire, are you in sales, or did you enter buys into sales? Or you're buying? I don't know what you're doing, Babby. Look how nice gold is looking. Did it fly? I had a feeling it was gonna fly, guys. I told you. Did it? Yeah. Went higher again. Like, we could automatically identify that price was pretty oversold. I don't think there was any setups I would have taken other than just like seeing price obviously having some type of bullish pressure, maybe breaking these highs, something like that. But nonetheless, still not the best structure within the 1 minute. But gold is a little bit different. Gold, again, is a commodity. I pretty much never trade gold anymore. Hardly ever. Rarely. It's rare to spot me doing that shit. But fire trade, though. What's up, YouTube? YouTube, don't be talking. YouTube be lacking. Waiting. Again, like, we had a good trade yesterday. No reason to rush into anything today, guys. Do I trade showcase session much? Not really. Rarely. Like, if I'm covering a stream or like I'm chilling with Luca, sometimes I'll just end up like trading. But again, like, I still want to see something of, quality. But no. Like, my main session is London. I did trade Power Hour yesterday on another account, or this morning, or whatever, yesterday, I guess you could say now. Bagged out a nice little move. At least half an hour after open. Yeah, that's good data. That's good observation, Joris. Like, seeing stuff like that could, tell you, okay, like, anything before that could just be manipulation, and you want to see price actually play out for the first 30 minutes to tell you, okay, price definitely has shown us we do want to go bullish, on the 1 minute, or we do want to go bullish on DAX, right? It's just at this point waiting for the setup in itself. Probably can keep an eye out for NQ for sure. Fire, bro. Yeah, keep an eye out on NQ. I like it. We'll see if it plays out again. Win or lose here. Yesterday was pretty nice, so is either just continue to capitalize on the week so far, or we'll be around, I think, break even for the week if we lose this trade. But obviously we're taking this being that it's a pretty good quality trade, other than the fact that the 1 minute is whatever. But the 5 minute is whatever, but I like the 1 minute. We had pretty good expansion higher here. We'll just see how you play here. I will be trading probably around 4 contracts, which is a little bit, I believe, above $300 risk. You can go down to 3 if you're not comfortable, or whatever you want to risk. But again, if you're coming in here, don't come in here to full port, guys. Like, obviously you can, but nonetheless, like, again, like, it's always the best looking trades. See, I don't like this, guys. Like, I hate when price has just been increasingly showing a lot of selling pressure right before we enter. It's just not nice at all. Like, I think I still want to enter, but nonetheless, like, that bearish pressure is, like, obviously we won yesterday. The first trade of the week we lost, seeing price push into these areas. But so, like, obviously the data is like kind of back and forth here, but nonetheless, like, it typically, like, when we see a lot of pressure coming in, like, this is nice. I like seeing that, and knows that, okay, buyers are still, still well within here. Sell position. I was thinking about it, like, selling this down into here. We'd at least get our 101 where we can move to break even. But obviously, like, if I'm expecting price to react off 50%, like, obviously I'm not expecting price, and I don't think that it has to react off 50%. Obviously we can come deeper within this overall range, but nonetheless, I have a feeling where, like, we'd only get 101 where we could close half, but at that point, is it worth taking it? Like, I usually only like playing pullbacks of 5 minute legs, right? So if our 5 minute leg look a little bit better, we had a little bit better structure on the 5 minute, because again, like, if we're looking at it, I'm playing the 5 minute pullback. This 5 minute bearish expansion, I'm playing the pullback of that. In this case, we'd be playing the pullback of a 1 minute expansion, which again still could hold strong, but nonetheless, that's not what I usually do, right? I usually, just because, again, like, price doesn't necessarily have to hit the equilibrium in most cases. Same goes for the 5 minute, I guess. But nonetheless, this is just a move where I just don't think it's worth taking it, even if it plays out. If it plays out, great. It can give us a little bit of data as far as what we could have taken, but nonetheless, like, it's, I'd rather wait for price to come down a little bit, hit our 50%, and then we look for buys here, which I should probably get ready. Ugh, I hate that it does this shit. We're close to the 50% though. All right, we hit it. I entered buys, guys. Hopefully I entered right contracts. Entered buys. Let me fix this. We're in buys. Obviously not the best reaction. Like we didn't really have a bottom wick here, but nonetheless the buy still holds strong. We didn't hit it on here, but we hit it on here. I hope we did. I'd be pissed if we didn't. Oh my gosh, we didn't, guys. We didn't. I may even close. We didn't hit it, huh? Barely fucking missed it. Hold on, let me mock this up a little bit better. I genuinely think we barely missed it. Wow. I'm exiting. Obviously, that's fine. I just need to wait for the actual tap. So again, thankfully I realized that it looked like it from a more zoomed out perspective, but we literally barely missed it by a fucking tick. By a tick. Okay. Obviously, if you close right now with me, you should be in profit. Why did it do that? That's literally a fucking tick, is it not? Wow. So again, even if you close with me right now, you should sort of made a little bit of profit. Obviously, price can just rip and never hit that area, which would fucking suck. But nonetheless, like, even though we barely missed it, I gotta be a little bit careful with that. Even though I expect price to hit it, I'd rather just wait and re-enter. All right, DAX again is now coming down to our area. Again, not entering this myself. You guys can. And just want to see how price plays out. UK 100 is still kind of flying here. Dude, if price rips, I think I should. We're banning George. We are banning George. Okay. Wow, that would suck if price ripped. I mean, even if price does come back down. Do I trade two markets at one time? What do you mean? Wow. I know, George. If we would have went to break even, we would have smacked here. We would already be up like 150, 200 bucks. That sucks dick, guys. But nonetheless, again, it didn't hit it. Barely missed it. I want to see price hit my area. I just had to enter just due to the fact that I was zoomed out and it looked like it hit it. My mistake. But again, even if you guys are still in, you can't be mad at me. You're up a decent amount right now. Like, do you let two trades run at the same time or only one trade at a time? I have let two trades run at the same time. Like, let's say I were to enter, two positions, one on DAX, one on UK 100. I'm fine with that. But I just know that, again, like my max trades is 2 trades a day. That's it. I'm mad because I exited emoji. Dude. Like, I can't be mad because, again, like I'm following my rules. It barely missed. I didn't realize until after. But, again, like even if price does end up shooting here. One, directional bias played out strong. So that's not bad. I don't think it would have hit it, Joris. It didn't hit it. At least on here and on TradingView, it didn't hit it. It just kind of a fuckery. But I actually like that price is now playing a little bit higher still, and we're not just having a straight shot with with a bunch of bearish volume down into our area. A lot better to see price kind of have this buying pressure step back in. So if we do end up seeing sales back off, it would actually, I think, be a little bit nicer because we're seeing price create some type of liquidity at these lows. Hopefully see price take that liquidity as well as tap our equilibrium and then fly right back up. Piper, that's the thing. I did enter the trade, but I realized that because I was looking at it from a more zoomed out perspective, it looked like it hit 50%. I enter at 50% of the entire range. I entered, but I closed in profits pretty quickly because I zoomed in and realized that it did not hit my area. And even though it missed it by quite literally, I don't even think a full fucking tick, I still have to stay strong and strict to my rules that I do not want to enter unless price does end up hitting the equilibrium. Yeah, Lormings, same. Honestly, we could have just moved to break even and said, fuck it, it is what it is, and we would have just got taken out of break even. But nonetheless, like, I just exited. Because again, price is just the NASDAQ fuckery. Yeah. But again, guys, like, don't trip out. It's still insane data if price does continue higher, because it tells us, okay, if price would have hit, at least we know that we would have won from a directional bias standpoint as far as price was looking to continue higher. It just happened to be that price barely missed our area. I had to exit and wait for that tap. So, but I really do think price is going to fly here, guys. Like, I can't lie to you. Just one of those days, I mean, or one of those situations. Not even one of those days. Just one of those situations where, like, there has been times where price does barely miss our 50% and still runs in our direction. It sucks. It is what it is. But going forward, it's not like I can even tell myself next time I'm going to go to break even, because I don't want there to be a next time where I enter a tick early. Even though it's a fucking tick, nonetheless, it's still entering early. So obviously, but like, yes, like if there was another situation like this, which I generally doubt, like George said, like moving to break even would have, done us well here. But nonetheless, it could have just been this situation. Truly. We could have ended up still coming right back down to break even, and it is what it is. All right, we profited 50 on the day. Michael, we didn't get in, if that's what you're asking. It just missed by a tick. Actually, I did get in, Michael. I'll make sure it drops. Yeah, make sure it drops, but nonetheless, it could just continue flying here. It really could. But we still have time. Oops. We still have time. UK 100 is still expanding higher. Again, like, I want to take these sells, and I may still take these sells. One thing I don't like about UK 100 too is like the fact we have Tokyo highs up here, but nonetheless, that does not mean price needs to take it now. Look at on my chart, Fire Crystal. That's fully fine. I'd say go to break even, truly, just to kind of ensure that it's a risk-free trade. You could even take some partials. Obviously, price can continue to rip, and you taking partials could limit your overall win, but nonetheless, again, price doesn't necessarily have to continue higher, but it can. So again, do what you think is best, but nonetheless, like, if you guys are still in this trade, when I did say I entered, I'd be at break even, at least at the bare minimum, be at break even. Okay, just because again, price still can come back down. Yeah, I didn't hit it mine either. But like I was saying, with UK 100, obviously we still have Tokyo highs up here. Doesn't mean we have to hit it. One fear I have though is like price obviously coming pretty deep within this overall move, because we have a lot of fucking imbalance within here, where even if we do enter at the 50%, we could still be drawdown for a bit until price either fills this. One fear is price coming up, wicking these highs, not closing above them, just wicking them and still playing out their bias, which would overall still take us out of the trade before the bias ends up continuing to play out. DAX looks better on the other hand, just because, well, obviously, look, New York highs up here. Tokyo didn't go and look to take them, right? Again, it doesn't necessarily have to take that right now. So that's where I'd still enter these two if we get that trade within the next hour 30, which I need to charge my phone. See, my broker, we have a massive fucking gap. Like, that's just I just honestly am a little bit hesitant with UK 100, guys. Like, it looks good, but being like, that's the news candle, it makes me think that price could just fucking fly still. It may not fly forever, but to ultimately take liquidity from the highs of this point. It was directly, I think, right at news, to be honest with you. What's Nas doing? Still kind of playing around here. Like, I have a feeling DAX isn't going to hit our area before 2 a.m. for some reason, just because it looks like we are looking to play out within this structure. It hit mine. Damn. Barely missed mine, man. My shit's marked up literally to the T, so everything was solid there. Wow, we are just fucking flying. Now E5 bands, my bad, learning some years though. Good sales looking. Gold sales looking good. At the midpoint in that range. The one thing I don't like about sales is just the over expansion that we had to begin with. But it doesn't mean that price still can't hold within that overall bearish leg and go lower. Fuck NASDAQ, man. Obviously the range is just expanding here, so I am going to move our area up. Yes, now it looks like we hit 50%, but from those previous highs we never did. So therefore we still need to facilitate that pullback unless price registered it as, I mean, yes, we missed it by a tick, but nonetheless, like, price may have so registered it as it pulling down into equilibrium. But this is live data, so I mean, can't say for sure. Sucks dick. Again, if you guys exited with me, I'm sorry, but nonetheless, I still can't be sorry because it goes to show price played out, but it is what it is. The fuckery continues. Yeah, George, it really does. Really does. Again, we'd be at break even for sure at this point. I'll be checking my cash out. We'll see if price does hit to our R based off where we would have entered. DAX is just choppy. UK 100 still fucking just flying here. Fucking flying. Like, again, like I said, I want to enter at 50% here, but I'm very hesitant. Just because I have just a strong feeling price is going to at least come up and fill this before continuing to sell off. And like, this displacement, being that it was during news, may not be treated as such, and it may be just treated as liquidity where we go to target the opening of that news candle. I'm gonna buy with DAX fire. Yeah, I think DAX will go up. It's just nothing that I'd like. I'm debating it. Again, like, it's still quality in the sense of just based off how technicals look, but it's the understanding that this was all due to fundamentals as well. We could continue lower though. NASDAQ is still expanding that overall range. I really wish we got the tap, guys. I really fucking wish, just because I really do like this. If we just continue to expand for like the next like 30 minutes to an hour, I'll probably just call it and say like it is what it is, you know. Can't do much about it at that point. I almost want to enter at the 71% to give me a better RR. But nonetheless, again, like price may just react off 50% still. And not care about the rest of the imbalance and continue to play with that bearish structure. Holy fuck. Actually, I'm gonna delete this shit. Way too big. Way too big. So is anyone still in Nas buys? I know besides Crystal. I'm very hesitant on UK 100, and being that I'm so hesitant, I almost don't want to take it because I like, obviously, like if it was a better situation, like it would just be like it would entry at 50%. It's just like that intuition, that gut feeling. Can't lie. Debating. I wonder if now is gonna come back down and give us fucking entry. I'll be giving it probably till 1 a.m. Possible shorts, yeah. Joris, this is what I'm talking about though. Like I think I'm still gonna take it. It's just I'm going to be a little bit more understanding, or I may go half here, half at 71%. But honestly, I think I'll just go full position here. It's not a terrible stop, but obviously it's still pretty big for fucking UK 100. 3M for me, but we got an answer. But one thing I was saying, Joris, is like I would have liked it better if we had a more like structured move higher into the equilibrium rather than just a straight shot. Obviously, price can still react and go lower, 100%, right? So that's where I'm still willing to take it. It's still good. But another thing is like this displacement lower, like this break lower, I don't want to say had nothing to do with technicals, but this was when Trump was talking. So a lot of this is more due to the fundamental aspect, which based off of the news, I feel like sells are inevitable just because there is basically, I didn't watch it, but from what I heard is like the war isn't necessarily over. There's looks like there's no de-escalation. I could be wrong. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't watch it, but we clearly had to sell off for a reason, right? We clearly know that price, or we did not like what Trump said, or at least from this market standpoint, it just overall didn't do well. So that could give me the idea that price is going to continue lower, probably the continuation or continuing into the rest of the week, just due to that information that was said at this time. He's being Lai's entire speech. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Yeah, Joris, that definitely is better, but nonetheless, like I'm entering at 50% just because again, price may just react to 50%, even though we have a balance higher. But nonetheless, like let's say I do enter at 50% and price does end up coming to 71% or even higher within this imbalance before continuing lower, that's good information that tells me on these trades going forward. Obviously, it's not going to be 100%, but a possibility that on these trades going forward where we have a lot of imbalance, I can enter at the 71%. Because honestly, entering at the 71% is I think way better in the sense of you get that 1 to 2 RR within this range rather than having to play outside of the range for that 1 to 2. But the downside of it too is obviously not all the time does price come into 71%. There's a lot of times where price just hits 50% and then continues. So that's, what is this? Gold. Okay, gold buys. Gold is ripping. Fire fucking trade. NASDAQ is still ripping. Holy fuck. I think we lost. Not lost on NASDAQ, but I think price is just probably going to extend higher. And we probably won't see the pullback. And if we do, it'll probably be in like 30 minutes, to be honest with you. And then from there, it just may not be worth taking it. I mean, obviously, I expect the entire, pullback of this leg here, but depends if it's still within our trading hours. So we were just pumping, man. Let's see if we hit it. I'm probably going to enter this, but again, if you're entering with me, just understand the risk at play here of what I had talked about earlier about this being a lot of fundamentals, but obviously there's still a bias behind the overall reaction that we got from that standpoint is price can still go lower just due to the initial information that was said. All right. I'm going to hop in here. We'll see what happens. Again, I'm fine taking a loss here just because we still got an entire month ahead of us. This is pretty much our first trade that we've seen in a week, maybe even more than a week, that is pretty valid in the sense of the overall structure of price with the higher time frame confluence. But nonetheless, again, like I said, a big fundamental candle, a lot of involvement there from that aspect of things. But nonetheless, even if I do sit and draw it on for a bit, I think price should hold at this area of supply here. Obviously, you could say, why don't you wait? Because again, just because we have a supply, just because we have imbalance, price doesn't have to fill it now. It can, but it could. And as we come into the 50%, that increases the probabilities of price continuing within its overall direction because now we're at an equal value of that overall bearish range. Obviously, the higher we go, the higher the price is, meaning the better, rate that institutions and banks are going to get when they sell price back off. But nonetheless, again, we see it day in, day out where price just hits the 50% and then continues to run in that overall direction because it's now at an equal value, meaning they're not, being fucked over, I guess you could say. But one way I actually used to trade is I would enter at the 7% when I would trade like Forex pairs, but I have been pretty much like Forex has just been shit, to be honest with you guys. But nonetheless, like this is how I used to trade. Enter at the 7%, TP at the low, easy 1 to 2 or more than a 1 to 2 every single time. But again, there's a lot of data that I've accumulated over the fact, especially on DAX and UK 100, where we will just hit 50% and run. But obviously, like going back, especially when I go back, like I usually go back really hard on data 6 out of like every 6 months because at that point I have a lot of accumulated data just based off those last 6 months. And I'll see, okay, if price does start to like, instead of us entering at the 50% with our full position, let's say price just happens to start hitting 71% before going lower more often than not, right? But obviously there's still going to be those cases where price just hits 50% and goes lower. One thing I could see myself doing in the future, and obviously I'm not going to just jump right in it, is let's say I enter half of my position at 50%. So in case price just wants to hit 50% and go lower, at least I'm paying myself, right? Or at least I'm still getting paid when that happens. But if price does end up coming up to 71%, I will still enter the other half of my position, where I'll be in my full position at that point and ultimately looking to catch potentially even more RR here. Okay. Because let's think about it. 2, 4. Yeah, we would catch like a whole extra RR, I think, if I'm not wrong, if we took that approach. Okay. But nonetheless, like, it's not something I'm going to do right now. But obviously it depends on how far we hold to as well. Like if we just go for a 1 or 2, like this would be like 1R, maybe a little bit more with another. So we'd still be making an extra R. About. Yeah. But realistically, if that first position target is a 1 or 2, I could have the same approach here. And obviously my management plan for this would be once I get to 1 to 1, move to break even, and just let the rest run at break even, which in that case, this would be a 1 to 4. But obviously we'd be half risking, so it'd be more like a 1 to 2. Okay. But that's still a 1 to 2 and like a 1 RR if we're half risking on both, which is an extra percent or an extra RR that we're gaining each trade if we took that area or if we took that approach. But obviously on the trades that just hit 50% and only half our positions in, we are limiting ourselves from that full winner's potential. But obviously if data shows that it's worth it when we do get those deeper pullbacks, because we know we'll catch that extra RR, it may be worth it in the long run. But that's where, again, accumulation of data is super important in identifying, is it worth it or is it not worth it? So again, like the reason I share all that with you guys is just like, one, it's like for you guys to have an understanding of how I think about the markets or how I am approaching the markets every single day, even when it comes to like data accumulation. Again, I got really big on data because of someone I used to watch on stream when I was new to things. He would always track his trades. I was like, why am I not doing it? He's successful. I should be doing the same thing. And again, I've started to realize how important it is, not only when it comes to my overall success, but continuing to maintain that success if things start to change. Because again, markets can change. Trends can change. It can slightly change. It can drastically change. But nonetheless, it's, something you always kind of have to be on top of. It's like a business, right? The way like businesses, like trends can change, right? Before TikTok, businesses really got off with just having a good community around them or advertisement in the fucking newspaper. Now, the people who are not adjusting to TikTok, like me and my friend were just talking about this, like the businesses that are doing the best right now, like as far as restaurants, are the businesses who are taking advantage of social media like TikTok. The people who are not are the ones starting to close, having to sell their business, starting to see less profits because their name's not getting out there clearly as much as some of these other people who are fucking trending on TikTok and targeting people to their location. I see TikToks all the time of like food and shit, and I'm like, oh, this looks good. But if they never had that, I would never know about them. Were you in Mamba's live yesterday? Who was Mamba flaming? Mamba don't care, man. He does not care whose feeling he hurts. Dude, they do not care, bro. No way you fucking banned him for that. Wow. I gotta be on that type of timing. George, say some fuck shit so I can ban you. I'll ban you and add you back. Lips are so dry. Well, I'll definitely be in this trade, probably into New York. I can't lie to you guys. Obviously, I still have an hour within my trading window, but nonetheless, we're already entered. We're already in. So we know whatever happens from here, it's either hits my stop loss or hits my first take profit. My first take profit is 101, where I will take half of my position off and move to break even. Okay, and obviously then I hold the rest of my position into 1 to 2, which it's very good in this sense, or in this case, because we know that we're sitting within this overextended bullish leg. We know that price can facilitate the overall bullish expansion down into the equilibrium, and our TP happens to be right before that. So beautiful in that aspect of things. Let's just see how price continues to play. All right, I'm headed to bed. Later, bro. I got a timeout for saying he's a cream pie. Wow. CPU too, that's, yeah. I think that's crazy. I wonder if a mod timed you out. Well, guys, NASDAQ played out beautifully. Sorry again if you, I want to say sorry, but at the same time, like, I don't really care. Again, like, the reason I told you guys to exit is because I exited, 1, and 2, even though we barely missed that area by a tick, we missed it by a tick. Two legs and consolidation. Why'd he ban you? 0-4 with him. He just hit 2. He banned you for that? Oh, gosh. We're about to hit, or 1 and 2 would have been down here. So we're about to hit 1 and 2 based off where our original entry would have been. Sucks, but it is what it is. We still have UK 100. Again, you guys may not be trading UK 100 if you're trading legacy with me. But again, it is what it is. One of those days. Probably not going to take anything else on NASDAQ. I'm probably out of here myself, guys. I'm going to let UK 100 play. Again, like I said, I can expect price to potentially come into my drawdown just a bit. Not necessarily just a bit, but pretty deep if it had to, just because a lot of this imbalance. But my one fear and what I'm hoping doesn't happen, I hope price doesn't feel the need to wick these highs and then play lower. Like, obviously, I can't be mad if price plays out within my directional bias, but obviously we'd be taking a loss. Nonetheless, it would still go to show and give a lot of good data that, okay, when we have these types of situations where all this entire candle, or a lot of this candle and a lot of the sell-off was due to the fundamentals and Trump talking, that could just be data that tells me in these types of situations, even if we have good setups, it's worth waiting to see how price reacts to this fundamental leg. But nonetheless, if we continue to see sells, that's good data in the sense of, even though this was like fundamentally driven, nonetheless, it still played out. It still ended up breaking these lows and showing us that price was looking to head lower. Okay. No way mom wants to be my friend. Yes, he does, Joris. Guys, just be careful. Again, like, I typically will never DM you first. And if I do, like, I'll tell you on stream, I'm going to DM you. Other than that, just be careful. That being said, guys, I am out of here. I will see you guys same time tomorrow. Also, hold on. Don't leave, you little shits. Also, do not forget, thanks, we'll see you tomorrow. Also, do not forget, Legacy's 20% off right now using code Nick. Go use it. Don't be a fucking chump. Again, you don't have to, but again, like, usually my discount's a little bit less. Right now, it's a little bit more. Take advantage of it. That being said, instant accounts too. If you guys want an instant account, a lot of people have been getting them. DM me. D fucking enemy. When will you do the 100K giveaway? On my next video, Joris. Next video I drop on YouTube. I'll announce the winners, and then there'll be another giveaway in there too. So, I'm out of here, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll make sure you use code Chris. Fuck Chris. I'm a ban Chris. But I'm out of here, guys. You guys are awesome. I'll see you tomorrow. Later, YouTube.